What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So have been gone for a little while, been pretty busy here lately, had a lot going on, but I have some videos I have already made. I just haven't been able to put them out yet. Taking the blue car to the racetrack several times, gotten some pretty good times out of it too. So gonna be making that video, or at least putting it together so I can get it out here soon. But in today's video, gonna be telling you guys the 5 things I hate about the ZR1 already. And to be honest with you, this is my ultimate dream American car that, I don't know, I always wanted one of these. So for it to be my dream car, I'm going to tell you the 5 things that I actually don't like about it since I've owned it, and a couple things I already knew beforehand, but a lot of things I've figured out once I got the car. So let's get into it. So the first thing is, and I didn't really know about this until I got the car, but it really wasn't too big of an issue, but it was kind of aggravating because I didn't really know what it was. So I started doing a bunch of research, kind of figured it out. So I was having an issue where in about 3rd, 4th gear, and I may have made the video. Actually, I did make a video. It's my last video. 3rd, 4th gear, if you kind of rolled off into it, it would fuel cut and fall over. So it was super weird, and it only happened really in a loaded gear, like a 3rd or 4th highway gear. 1st and 2nd didn't really do it, but it was mainly 3rd and 4th, and 5th on the interstate. If you just kind of rolled off into it, it would do it. So started doing a bunch of research, and I did notice about a month and a half after I got the car, probably about a month after I got the car, you would turn it into accessory mode, let everything power up, fuel pumps and all, and you would hear a knocking sound in the back. And it didn't really dawn on me for some reason. You know, this car has magnetic ride. I was thinking maybe the mag ride or something. I don't know. So I wasn't really sure. But what I figured it out was I had figured out that the fuel pump control module and the relay has like a little relay box back here in the back. It's under this little area back here under the carpet. The fuel pump control module and the relay box are a known issue for these cars. So I took those out on a limb and I was just like, you know what, I'll try it. There's a company down in Florida that fixes them, you know, if there's something wrong with them. So I sent them out. They showed up. Place is awesome. I'll put their stuff on the screen. Super awesome place if you own a ZR1. It really helped. It got the car back going, fixed all my issues. But I sent them out. They got there. As soon as they got there, the lady called me, got all my information, called back after about 3 or 4 hours after diagnosing them, and they found a little issue in the relay box. Can't exactly remember what it was. I'd have to look at the paperwork, but it was like $50 to diagnose it and like $200 or $250 to fix it. So, and then shipping and all. So it ended up being about $300. They got it back, put it in the car, fixed all my issues. But it was kind of aggravating because, you know, you buy this car's very expensive, and, you know, it's happened with cars with, you know, 9,000, 13,000 miles. Luckily, you know, my car has some mileage on it, you know, so luckily, I don't know if it's ever had this issue before, but it happened. Of course, it's going to happen to me if anything's going to happen. So I got it fixed, got it back going. But the fuel pump control module and the relays are a main thing you kind of want to, you know, think ahead of, because it can definitely cause some issues like that. But it's not terrible if that's your issue. You can always send them out and have them fixed. But you do not want to lose them or mess them up or anything, because they are very hard to find and they are very expensive now. They used to not be expensive from what I've read, but now the kind of rarity and people having issues with them, they're very expensive now. So make sure you hold on to yours and do not lose them or mess them up. Now, another thing I hate about the C6 ZR1 is the dashes in them. Now, the dashes are like a leather kind of wrapped dash. You know, they're a little bit different because this is a 3ZR package, so they have the leather on the door panel with stitching. But you will have an issue of the dashes lifting. Now, this dash right here is actually in pretty good shape considering the mileage and the age of the car. There's some people's dashes, like all right here is just, you know, wadded up. It looks terrible when they're like that, and these cars are not easy to take the dashes out of. There's like a place in Texas, I think, that a guy fixes them or whatnot, but it's a pain to take the dashes out of these cars. It's a lot of work, and, you know, it's kind of like, I think it's kind of expensive to have them fixed, but as long as you like keep them inside, the heat is what really messes these dashes up. So if you leave the car in direct sunlight all the time, your dash is going to get cooked and it's going to get messed up. But luckily, you know, from my driving point, you see a little bit of it, but like if you're really looking at right here, I mean, you see that little bit and that's it. I mean, I can work with that. That doesn't bother me because you actually have to look up. And then on the outside with the windshield tinted, you don't really see it. And the windshield tint probably helped this dash a little bit, but that's one thing I do not like about this car because, you know, if it messes up, you know, I'm going to want to get it fixed because I can't stand, like I've seen some cars and the dashes were just, God, they were rough. Look at this thing. What the heck? Anyways, yeah, the dashes just get cooked. So you really want to, you know, make sure if you're buying one of these cars that the dash is in pretty good shape. You know, something like this, if you're not really too, you know, worried about it. But if you don't really care and you want a cooked dash, you know, that's cool too. All right, the third thing I hate about this C6 ZR1, especially, you know, in my standard, like I like to modify a little stuff. These things are so freaking expensive to modify. Like everything is super expensive. Like there's not very many cold air intakes for the stock snout, so they're kind of hard to find. Aftermarket snout, you're going to spend $1,700 on. Port the blower and everything is actually like one of the best deals, I think. It's like $1,700 port the blower. But, you know, a good set of headers and mid-pipe for this car, $2,500. Like on a base model or anything, I would put Speed Engineering on it. But on a ZR1, I mean, you got to put like Stainless Works or something. I mean, you got to do like nice quality stuff, I think. I mean, there's probably people out there putting cheap headers on these cars, but not me. So it is stupid expensive to modify these. Everything is very expensive. The brakes, just like maintenance on the brakes, these things are like, if you have to replace the carbon ceramic rotor, I mean, it's stupid. This car will get steel brakes if that ever comes. But yes, everything is so freaking expensive to modify on these cars. Like you see these ZR1s out here and they're making 1,000 horsepower and they're still stock bottom end cars. I mean, they still have $20,000 builds in these things because everything, I mean, just like these guys that are running the new Kong intake, I mean, that intake alone is $2,600. And then they have the Kong ported blower, snout, heads, cam. I mean, easily 15, 20 grand just to get, you know, 800 horsepower out of these if you want to get into the engine and then all the good stuff. I mean, you can do a nice little bolt-on 700 horsepower for about 6-7 grand, but still very expensive to modify. All right, number 4, and this is kind of goes to the modification thing, is these cars have supercharger bricks, and these bricks are known for failing even in stock form. So you want to have to get your bricks reinforced or aftermarket bricks. If you buy aftermarket bricks, they're expensive. There's 2 in this supercharger lid. Kong has like one big one in his lid. That lid's like $2,400. The stock LS9 has 2 bricks, cooling bricks, and if they fail, potentially mess your motor up. So do not want them to fail. LS9s are not cheap. Do not want them to fail. So like I think one brick is like $690, $700. So 2 bricks, I mean, you're going to spend $1,300 on 2 bricks for this car. So expensive. You can get them done, you know, people TIG weld them, get them reinforced, which is probably what I'm gonna try to find somebody around here to do. There used to be a couple guys around here that did it. That's my goal. Hopefully I can find somebody that'll reinforce the bricks. Maybe one day put aftermarket bricks in it, but right now don't really want to spend $1,300 on 2 bricks in the supercharger. Again, goes back, everything stupid expensive. All right, last but not least, number 5, the 5th thing I hate about my C6 ZR1 and basically all C6 ZR1s in stock form. And it's really nothing against the car itself. It's more against kind of like what people think of the car. And I don't really care what people think about this car at all, because It's my dream car. I care less what you think. But everybody at car meets, people love this car. People know what it is. The people that do know what it is really love it, but people know what it is. But I go to these little nighttime car meets every now and then, and sometimes I don't want to take the blue car because it's kind of a little too rowdy. I'll just drive this, kind of chill, let people check it out. You know, not a lot of C6 ZR1s around here, so I like to just let people check it out, see the car, stuff like that. But everybody expects a C6 ZR1 to be making 1,000 to 900 horsepower. Everybody thinks this thing is super fast. Anytime I pull up, any kind of car, motorcycle, wants to call this car out. This car might make 550, max 560 wheel in stock form, and everybody wants to call this car out every time. You know, I can't ever just drive this thing to a night meet without somebody going, you want to race this Mustang? It's got 800 horsepower. You want to race this bike? It's a 750. No, I mean, this thing's stock, guys. Like, it's quick. Don't get me wrong. It's very quick for what it is stock. But it's not going to be the 800 horsepower, you know, 10-speed auto Mustang with a Whipple on it. It's not. But everybody suspects this thing to be making crazy power. Wondering why, you know, it's still in stock form. Buddy, I mean, if you want to just do the blower, snout, and intake, $5,000. I mean, come on now. So that's one of the main things that kind of sucks about having it, is everybody thinks this thing should be making crazy horsepower like everybody else in like Texas that has the R1s. I mean, I just kind of want to chill, cruise this thing. This thing's not a drag car. Maybe one day I'll just do just little bolt-ons, make 680, 700. But for right now, it's in stock form. Kind of like it like this. It's a good driver. AC will freaking freeze you out. That's one of the things I love about this car. But anyways, guys, I think that'll do it for this video. That's kind of pretty much everything I kind of hate about it. But I love to hate, because this thing is like, even though it's got its little issues, absolutely love this car. I mean, I don't really know of any other car like reasonable to this price range I'd really want to trade it off for. Like an Audi R8 maybe, but then again, probably not. I mean, I see more Audi R8s around here than I see C6 ZR1s. So anyways, guys, I think that'll do it for this video. Please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Let me know what you want to see next. That'll do it. Peace.